Hey, welcome to my channel. My name's Christina Kent and I'm an oil painter based out of San Francisco. And today I'm going to talk to you about some of the in-person ways to show your art without going through a gallery. There are a lot of reasons why you might not want to go through a gallery when it comes to showing your work in person. I think it's great for artists, especially traditional artists, to show their work in person. It allows you to meet people, it allows you to make new friends, to connect more with the artist community, and for a lot of us, our work just looks so much better when you see it in real life. For many artists who want to show their work in person, they often look to galleries, but there are a lot of reasons why working with a gallery may not be the best fit for you. And thankfully, there are a lot of alternative things that we can do if we want to show our work in person. I live in San Francisco and am currently working with a few galleries in my area, but it wasn't always like that. And especially before I started working with galleries, I had to look for a lot of alternative venues to show my work. So if you're an emerging artist looking for opportunities to show your work, or maybe if you live in a small town and you don't have any galleries close by, or maybe you do know some galleries but they're just not a good fit for your work, I hope this video can give you some ideas on other ways that you can show your work. The first thing I did when I was just starting out was pop-up events and art fairs. These are events hosted by local arts organizations or craft fairs, and basically they get together a group of artists or vendors to sell to people at a particular time and place. These are one-time events and your art's not going to be up for a long time, so your art's just going to be there while you're there at your table or booth, but I found that this can be a really good way to meet new collectors, to get your name out there, and to show your work. And I've noticed with these events, sometimes it seems like they tend to be better for people who are doing more craft-oriented things or have more sort of utilitarian products to sell, like ceramics or clothing, but I think it can be really good for fine artists too. And the thing is, you'll never really know until you try. I did some of these pop-up events that went really, really well and I sold a lot of work, and other events where literally no one even talked to me. It's hard to tell in advance whether or not a particular event is going to work for you. So I would suggest, if you're not sure, give it a try, see how it goes. For these events, you'll usually need to set up your own sort of vendor space. So you'll want to get a folding table that you can put things on. If you're a fine artist and you're going to be displaying art, you might want to get some sort of like metal grid wall or something that you can hang your work on so that people can see it really easily. And you want to have all these things ready in a nice way to present so that people will want to come up to your booth and see your work. I find that these events are often good for selling smaller, less expensive work like small paintings and prints, but you can also sell larger pieces there as well. I've also found it's helpful at these events to have my business cards and to also have little postcards of my art. So if maybe someone doesn't buy a piece, but they'll take my postcard home and they'll think of me and they can even share it with their friends. And when I go to these events, I try to think of it less about trying to sell my work and more about trying to make connections with the people that I see there. And you never know, someone might see your work at one of these small pop-up events and then end up becoming a really big collector of yours in the long run. And when you connect with people in person, the connection is so much stronger than when they just scroll past you on social media. One thing I'll note is that for some of these pop-up events, they do charge an entry fee to vendors. So when you sign up for these events, look at the other vendors that they have, look at the style of work that's being shown. Is it more art? Is it more crafts? Who are the other vendors that are going? And then try to use these factors to decide whether or not it will be worthwhile for you to go. The next great way to start showing your work is to go to coffee shops or local restaurants. In my experience, these places are always looking for new work they can show on their walls. I've shown my work at coffee shops, bakeries, and restaurants, and the great thing about these places is that none of them take a commission. And if you're wondering if people actually buy artwork from coffee shops, I can tell you I've actually sold a lot of pieces through these venues. I've also had people reach out to me through social media saying, "Hey, I saw your work at this coffee shop and I loved it. Can I see more of your pieces?" So even if these events aren't resulting in direct sales, they can result in sales in the long run. The other great thing about showing your work at coffee shops, especially if you haven't shown your work before, is it teaches you how to do all the things you need to do to set up a show. And doing small shows at coffee shops is a great way to gain experience in preparing for and curating a show of your work. And these locations, whether it's a coffee shop or a restaurant, they don't have to already be showing an artist's work for you to reach out to them. If you think it would be a good place to show your work, then go there, introduce yourself, let them know that you're a local artist, and ask if they're interested. The worst thing they can say is no. Another great place to show your work is at the offices of local businesses. Offices love to have art on their walls, and it can be a great way for you to meet more collectors and get exposure. For For me, I got connected through a friend to an architecture firm that had a big wall and was looking for some paintings to fill it. I didn't have any big shows going on at the time, so I sent them a few of my large paintings for their wall. We decided to host an opening party for the show, and it ended up becoming like a mini exhibition of my work. I sold several pieces and made new friendships with the people at the office. So to recap, there are many ways to show your art without going through galleries. You can do pop-ups and art fairs, show your work at cafes and restaurants, or partner with local businesses in their offices. So if you want to show your work but haven't found the right gallery, I hope that this video inspires you to find other ways that you can go about getting your work seen. And if you have any tips on how to show your work outside of galleries, let me know in the comments below. And just a quick note, this video isn't sponsored by anyone, but if you'd like to support my work, check out my paintings for sale at my website below, or you can join my Patreon, or you can share this video with a friend. That really helps my channel. And as always, a huge shout out to my supporters on Patreon. Thank you guys so much for supporting my work. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.